What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and it is match reaction time. Massive shout out before we get started to my 4-year-old daughter who's done my makeup for this one today. It's been a big day. We're a little bit late. Apologies to everyone for not hitting our usual time slot with the reaction video, but I'm glad you're here, and we're going to break down the game today between Geelong and the Essendon Football Club. That is round 22, 2025. And I think the general sentiment, and certainly one that I agree with, is that it's a pretty disappointing game from the Cats. Certainly, it could have been much more. Now, I think there's a range of reasons behind it. Some that I think are valid, others a little less so, or not valid, acceptable versus unacceptable. But let's get into the actual final result here before we really start to get into the more granular aspects of this game. So the Cats got the job done, 15-19, 109, beating the Bombers 10-5-65. Inaccuracy from the Cats playing a huge part in this matchup. Like some of our dead eyes, and I'm thinking Jeremy Cameron, I'm thinking Brad Close and Tyson Stengel. Tyson Stengel in particular has been really wobbly in front of the sticks lately. The last 2 weeks have been pretty poor. In fact, back-to-back games, he's kicked 3 behinds in the first quarter. He's in a bit of a funk at the moment when it comes to form in front of the big sticks. But he's getting shots, he's getting opportunities, and that's really, really important. So I think one thing that we need to dispel straight away is that, 44, like we really lowered our colours. We did in some respects, but please don't make that judgment based upon the final scoreline, because this could have been a blowout. This could have been, and it technically is, at 44 points, it pretty well is. But, if we'd have flipped that even, it would have made a big difference. If we'd, some of these set shots that we missed were typically, you take them to the bank every day of the week. We missed some of those as well. This could have been an 80-plus margin with a lot of ease. But let's kind of get into the game itself and kind of pick through, I guess, what we can see in the form of the two teams in this matchup. Geelong getting the job done pretty comfortably again overall, but it's not without some fightbacks from Essendon. And this one particular block in the third quarter was the bit that concerned me of the whole game. The rest, nothing really to see here. Sure, they got 2 consecutive goals, one late in the first and then early again in the second, but really not much to see. It was this one block where Essendon chained, 4 goals together? Yeah, 4 goals together, and that was my one concern from the game, that this is a very weak team and not particularly good team who kind of got on top of us for a period of time, which shouldn't happen at this point of Geelong's season. We really should be starting to develop that 4-quarter football, and we had a lapse. And I would say, it's not that we played 3 quarters. I think it's more that we played 3.5 quarters, and we had a 10-minute block. You can see the gap here between the first with 18 minutes and 25, and then 27 minutes. So essentially about 10 minutes of lapsed Geelong that can do all sorts of damage in a final. We can't afford to have these lapses. And for me, I think that's the biggest concern from this game, is like we didn't put the foot on the throat and squeeze like we really could have and should have. And then again, inaccuracy played a little part of that. But it was this block that really, I think, frustrated me the most from the game. But you can see Geelong kind of dominated the game at the end of the day. We already had basically a 4-goal lead by quarter time. We extended that in the second, let it slip in the third, before kind of storming away a little bit late in the last quarter there. And again, some inaccuracy, and Jeremy Cameron responsible for a few of those misses in the last quarter. He had that opportunity. He's now 21 goals away from getting 100. Certainly this result, this 4-goal, 5 output from him makes me a little bit anxious and concerned that he may not actually hit that milestone, that accomplishment anymore. 21 goals with 2 home and away games and to be determined, but I guess seemingly at least 2 finals ahead of us is not ideal. That's a lot when you factor in finals football and the pressure that comes from that, and the fact that we can't afford to be as Jezza focused in the finals. We've just got to take the best option when it's there. It's a bit of a worry for him. I would have liked for him to really, he had 9 shots. I would have loved for 8 goals 1, 7 goals 2, something like that from this matchup to just ease concerns and firstly, it would have been great for the scoreline, but also to just, make gigantic inroads into the 25 goals that he needed to kick leading into that game. But anyway, that is the worm, and we're going to go through a whole range of other aspects of this game. We'll look at the team stats, we'll look at some individual figures right after a word from our sponsor.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 12 11 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Now, let's look at some of the team data here. And honestly, it doesn't necessarily, I think, in a lot of ways, represent the dominance that Geelong had, but Essendon capitalised on opportunities. And they did, in my mind, get the ball inside 50 more than they should have. Disposals, fairly even. Essendon well down on their average, despite the fact that they're a shit team. We kind of compressed the ground naturally compresses them a little bit as is. But, you know, we kind of squashed down on them and limited their ability to dispose of the ball, both via kick and handball. We kind of met our average, nothing to see there. The inside 50s, I'm frustrated that we got as many against us as we did. When we should be dominating a team like this, we should be looking at figures similar to last week, where that inside 50 count for Essendon should be at least slashed by 17, maybe probably 30 would be the number you'd be expecting in this scenario. But what we do so well is we kind of shut teams down, especially some of those low-rung teams. We shut them down so well when they go forward, and that's reflected in the disposal efficiency inside 50 here. 38.3% versus 69.2%. Geelong was lethal when they went forward. Not always in front of the sticks, but certainly in terms of giving ourselves opportunity and resulting in shots on goal, we were pretty deadly in that respect. Disposal efficiency generally, again, Essendon down, Geelong about average. Free kicks. Let's take a moment here to talk about the umpiring. The umpiring in this game was absolutely horrendous. None of these blokes, and I should take a moment to check up who they are. I'm going to be that sort of guy right now and actually name people a little bit. Nick Foote, Jacob Mollison, Cameron Jones, and Nicholas McGuinness. You don't deserve to coach finals. To umpire the finals. And that's not because you're bad umpires, but geez, you had a pretty bad day with this one. That was really, really poor. The decision-making going both ways was absolutely woeful. The Geelong crowd cottoned onto it. There was some amazing tackles. There was some head-high stuff that weren't being paid. There were some abysmal calls that were getting paid, and some that even worked in our favour. Jeremy Cameron had been kind of beaten up on and absolutely taken out of play on a number of occasions. Didn't get a free kick, and then one time he tries to take a hanger, and none of the Essendon players did anything to him. He received the free kick, which then resulted in a 50 because they argued, and he kicked an easy goal. Just the inability from the umpires in this game to just not even keep control of the game, but just to adjudicate it properly was insane. I can't believe how bad the umpiring was in this matchup, but it is what it is. Moving back into the results a little bit there. So, there's your free kick count. Moving into our stoppages, Geelong dominated at the coalface, which is what you want. Contested possessions, uncontested, great. Turnovers, great. Like, a lot of this paints a pretty rosy picture. We just didn't take advantage of our opportunities. It is as simple as that. And I know that I can talk about the scoreline, but like the data backs up the eye test in my case that this, and there was a lot of complaints. There was a lot of frustration. I was seeing it in the Hoops Crew Discord over the course of the night. A lot of kind of what is going on here sort of stuff. And it was just that we weren't kicking our goals. We weren't taking our opportunities. And on the flip side, when Essendon did get the ball inside 50, and they got it there plenty, remember, 47 times. And yes, 38.3. Their efficiency was poor, but they managed to still retain possession, kind of bouncing it around, ricocheting it around, handballing it around, whatever it happened to be. They managed to bounce it around enough that then eventually someone would get laced out and they get a shot on goal, or someone would get a chance to snap it. Geelong didn't do a good enough job, in my mind, of shutting down the play, especially in the second half, I would say, especially in that third quarter in particular. So this could have been a lot uglier. There was a 10-minute burst of Essendon for good football and a lapse from Geelong that kind of shifted the game a little bit there. Marks, contested marks inside 50, all what you'd expect. Goals, nothing to see here. Defense, I don't like that Essendon got as many as they did here, but for Geelong, 16 is above our average, and it's kind of what you want to see. Essendon chasing tail all game. I do want, even in these games, Geelong to be leading in that front. We didn't do so in this particular game. And the rest, I don't make too much of bounces, 1%ers and interchanges. So let's move on to some of our player data here. We'll shift over to the Cats just to be a little bit one-eyed about the whole thing here. Bailey Smith leading all comers on the ground. 9 clearance as well, which is really, really important there. He's been doing a fantastic job in that respect. Max Holmes of 29-2. Jack Bowes, 24-1. Graham Myers, 22-4. He's looking very lethal as a midfielder at the moment. It's great to see. Mark Blitzarves, bit of time in the ruck, a bit of time up forward, is really settling into the job. He's kicked 2 goals as well. We know that his goal kicking can be a bit of a problem at times. Was nailing him in this particular matchup. Sean Manor continues his great form as well. Tom Atkins, I've spoken about it in a scratching post video, which you can only see on the Hoops Crew Patreon. Go check it out. But he's not going to win the tackle. He's not going to get the tackle record by the end of the season. He might reach the record, but then he's going to lose it to Matt Rowell. So that's a bit unfortunate at this point. Tom Stewart, really, really great until obviously he kind of wrapped things up a little bit. He kind of put the cue in the rack a little bit. Mitch Nevitt was pretty solid in his return game there. Some really solid plays from him. He body lined the ball on a few occasions, didn't let, when he was outnumbered on a few occasions, didn't relinquish the ball. I think there was some really good stuff there. Continues to show the promise. I know not everyone is completely sold on Mitch Nevitt, but I'm happy with what I saw from that one. He's a bigger body midfielder. His body's going to continue to grow, but he's playing the way we want him to play, and soon he's going to Josh Kennedy his way through some of these contests, and I can't wait to see it. Mark O'Connor was really solid. Zach Guthrie did a great job. There were some great rebound plays from him. Brad Close with 1 goal, 3, wayward in front of the sticks. Jeremy Cameron, 4 goals, 5, wayward in front of the sticks. Ollie Dempsey has been pretty quiet lately. I think he's been pretty well held. He's a little bit out of touch, I think. But I'm also pretty confident he'll pull it all together when it really counts. Lawson Humphreys, not really required too much. Tyson Stengel, again, pretty badly out of form in front of the sticks at the moment, but he's getting his hands on it. He's getting his shots on goal, and they'll turn around sooner or later. A few extra goal-kicking sessions, and I'm sure he'll come good. Oisin Mullen was beaten by Zach Merritt in this contest. Zach Merritt had, I think, in the 20s, Oisin Mullen the 9, and he was going head-to-head with him. I would have liked to see more in that tackle count, considering he was trying to wear him like a glove. Sam De Koning, he's horribly out of form. And with Jake Kolajasny returning through the VFL today, he needs to be on high alert. He needs to sort this out really fast. He is making some really ugly mistakes. He's not defending as well as he could or should be. Then he has some really great moments as well, but he is badly out of form right now, and he needs to fix it up. Shannon Neal started the game really strongly, kicked 3 goals in the first quarter, then went very quiet as we got a little bit more Jezza-focused. Reece Stanley did a solid job through the ruck. Jack Henry was 6. He got subbed. Jai Clark only was 6, was the sub through the third quarter there. But I want to take an opportunity to talk about Jai. Jai has become a bit of a whipping boy lately. There's not a lot of people on Team Jai right now. But I saw some absolute brilliance from him in this game. The aggression towards the ball was great. I know he only got the 1 tackle, but his aggression towards the ball was fantastic. There was one play in particular. It's one of my great memories from this game. The way he extracted the ball and then just this beautiful centering pass to Bailey Smith at one point was just fantastic to watch. He is showing all the right traits and characteristics, and I just need all of you, everyone watching right now, to just give him a bit more time. He's getting there. This is a player who's got the chops. He just needs to build that, a bit like Mitch Nevitt. His body needs to grow now. Jai Clark is a smaller bodied midfielder and still needs to build up his frame a bit. But I think he's on track. He is on track. You've just got to be patient. I know there were so many parallels drawn between him and Joel Selwood for the aggression and the way he was playing as a kid, but now he's being exposed because his body hasn't built up like it's needed to yet. He will get there. We all thought Zach Guthrie wasn't going to make it at different stages, that we thought, he's too weedy, he's too skinny, it's not going to work. He got there, and now he's one of our most important players on the list. Please be patient with Jai Clark. He's going to be a great player. Just give him the time. But that is where we're going to wrap things up for this match review. Thank you all for having tuned in. Again, a reminder, the Geelong Cats got the win by 44 points, 15-19, 109, 10-5, 65, the Bombers, 44 points. Inaccuracy meant that was, 10 goals short probably of what it could have and should have been. But we'll get the shit out of the system now. We'll rebound. We've got to take on the Swans next week. They're a dangerous team. We need to make sure we get ourselves a win to give ourselves those top 2 chances. And we go from there. But thank you all for having checked out this video. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe on YouTube to The Hoops Crew. Like this video, share it with your friends and family. Check out all the content we're producing from myself, Ben, the chaps from Postgame Live to the Chaps Chat Cats, my match reactions, the Paul James Show on Mondays and Thursday nights. Lots of stuff for you to check out, so please go and see all that we're producing there. Consider checking out our Patreon, patreon.com/thehoopscrew for the early access, extended, and exclusive content we've got there as well. There's lots of awesome stuff for you. I referenced the scratching post before. That is one of my exclusive shows on the Hoops Crew Patreon. It's a 5-minute, usually, series. It's bite-sized, easily consumed stuff where I am talking through a topic, whatever it happens to be, the community. I reach out to you guys for your thoughts and ideas. Share those with me, and I'll discuss them on that show for you. In terms of socials, you'll find me at Paul James Games. That's on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. The Hoops Crew is at The Hoops Crew. And until next time, thank you all for watching. Please remain Geelong strong. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you later.